Welcome to the Word Unearth, a podcast that seeks to explore the intersection between scriptures, ethics, theology, and culture. If you are interested in seeing God's truth uncovered and deeply explained in a sociocultural, biblical, doctrinal, ethical, theological, and religious context, with the aim of revealing God's truth that sets us free, then this podcast is for you. My name is Samson Daniel, main host of the Word Unearth podcast, where we unravel God's Word that brings a lifetime. I welcome you to another episode. Today, I want to consider a topic titled Launch into the Deep. From the first episode, we were able to establish that we'll be looking at episodes that will encourage us and bring us hope, even in the midst of hopeless situations. Today, that is what we seek to achieve, trusting that whoever you are, however you are, whatever may be your challenges, by the word of God spoken to you, you can be able to launch into everything that God has spoken unto you. And we'll be looking at the case study from the book of Luke chapter 5, a very popular passage concerning the life of Peter. The life of Peter. It is with that intent of understanding launching into the deep to bringing us hope from every hopeless situation that I want you to know that God desires for you to come out from everything that may have kept you bound. We'll get to read the book of Luke so that I can lay a biblical context, and then I encourage us from that passage. Luke chapter 5, verse 1 to 10. I will quickly read it from the ESV version. The ESV version. Verse 1, Luke chapter number 5. On one occasion, while the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret. Verse 2. And he saw two boats by the lake, but the fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. Verse 3. Getting into one of the boats, which was Simon's, he asked him to put out a little from the land, and he sat down and taught the people from the boat. Verse 4. And when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, put out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. Verse 5. And Simon answered, Master, we have toiled all night and took nothing, but at your word I will let down the nets. Verse 6. And when they had done this, they enclosed a large number of fish, and their nets were breaking. Verse 7. They signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and help them, and they came and filled the boats so that they began to sink. Verse 8. But when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. Verse 9. For he and all who were with him were astonished at the catch of the fish that they had taken. Verse 10. And also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said, Simon, do not be afraid. From now on, you will be catching men. Verse 11, where I'm going to stop. And when they had brought their boats to the land, they left everything and followed him. Let me particularize my interest in verse 4. Maybe for the sake of the topic that I'm considering today, launched into the deep, I will read from the King James Version, verse 4. Verse 4, King James Version. Now, when he had left speaking, said unto Simon, launch out into the deep and let down your net for a draught. Verse 5, and Simon answering said unto him, Master, we have toiled all the night and have taken nothing. Nevertheless, at thy word, I will let down. This passage exposes us to confidence in the word of God. Looking at the life of Peter and his partners, you would have realized that these were professional fishermen, men who understand the dynamics of fishing. They came around to fish through the night and they caught nothing. In fact, the Bible said they toiled all through the night. They toiled all through the night, yet they caught nothing. And here comes Jesus, our master, speaking to one of them, Peter, knowing quite well that this will be a sign that will make him to follow him. And he said unto Peter, launch into the deep, launch out into the deep. Now, one of the things that we could see here was the fact that Peter, in verse 5, said, Master. He had to affirm that Jesus was Master. Because you say so, I will let down them. Now, the confidence that Peter had to launch into the deep was because he had confidence in Jesus. The fidelity of Jesus Christ was something that Peter had. Imagine if it were to be one of the children of Peter, or maybe his mom, coming to tell him, Peter, I know you have toiled through the night. Can you just launch into the deep? I believe Peter will not be confident enough to launch into it. But the Bible said in verse 5, because you say so, at your word, he launched into the deep. Anywhere you are listening to me, I don't know what you have been toiling. Maybe God has given you a word and you feel you cannot launch out. You are afraid, you are fearful, you are battling with one challenge or the other. Maybe God has given you a word to do something, a project, and you feel you cannot. This episode has come to bring us hope that we can actually launch out. You do not need to be afraid. God can make that which He has told you come into reality. You can launch out into the deep. You can have confidence to go extra mile into what God has told you. Why? God is immutable, is unchanging. He can bring His word to pass. If He has given you a word, I am confident that He's going to watch it come to pass. And Peter launched, and they had what I would term a net-breaking testimony. I don't know what you are troubled with. I don't know how you have battled with that situation. I don't know, maybe you have even lost confidence in the fidelity of God. Maybe for you, you have just given up and you just don't know what to do. As I wrap up, the word is launch into the deep. Launch into the deep. You want to take a step in marriage? I remember this word came to me about 4 years ago when I was praying and trusting God for a relationship. I was so afraid. I don't even know how to even step into that relationship. But as I was praying, the Lord said unto me, launch into the deep. Launch into the deep. And do you know what? I actually launched. And God helped. So whoever you are passing through a sickness, You are passing through an issue that you feel God has not been there. There is hope. Launch because He said so. Launch. We're going to stop here. This is just a short um, episode to bring us hope from hopeless situations. Remember, this is the Word on Earth, where we dig deeper into scriptures, into truth, and into author. You can do well to follow us on YouTube, and the name of the YouTube channel is The Word on Earth with Samson Daniel. You can also listen to this podcast on Spotify and on Twitter. You can do well to share the videos even on social media platforms, trusting that God is going to bring God testimony. To say this before I wrap up, please do well to comment on the comment section. You can share your testimony and how God has used this podcast to bless you. Till I come your way again, keep digging deep into the Word of God. Thank you, God bless you.